Welcome to the vault. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Please be safe. I'm going to bring you said commentary pertaining to Bryan Koiberger. Information has come out that he has followed three of the victims on IG, allegedly visited the workplace of two of the young women, and the judge has issued a gag order pertaining to families, attorneys, and other said parties. Most of you knew not to speak about the case, but you decided to talk anyway. Many people are curious to this case, the what ifs, the who's, the where's, the why's, but you as law enforcement, you know better if you leaked out any information pertaining to this case, because we don't want anything thrown out pertaining to Koiberger. Any information, any mishandling of evidence. So most of you know better. As far as this person who worked at the Mad Greek, many people are going to wonder, why are you just now speaking and talking? And when did you last work at the restaurant? Curious. I'm going to bring you that said information. Thank you for joining me. Please go to my community board for said updates pertaining to Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell, Alec Baldwin. Please check the community board for the said information. Did Bryan Koiberger deliberately spare DM and BF? 59% says yes, 41% said no out of 160 votes. Let's hear commentary pertaining. I'm going to get into this commentary, but before that, I'm also going to let you know that the young lady who was shot alongside Takeoff and other people back in Houston a few months ago, she has decided to speak publicly. It is by KHOU11 if you'd like to check out my community board for that said information. The Scream trailer has come out if you'd like to check out that as well. It will be released March. I have other movies I've recommended. Pray for the Devil. Please check out my commentary pertaining to 6 executed cartel style in California. Very interesting information coming out of there. California. Okay. And please check out my library for my other content. Let's go ahead and get started with the latest information. Yes, Pray for the Devil. That's my weekend recommendation for those of you who dare to watch scary movies. And once again, Scream is coming out this March. Trying to think what I want to talk about first. Let's go with Fox 35, Orlando. Idaho murder suspect followed 3 victims on Instagram. One moment, please. Thank you.
In the murders of 4 college students in Idaho. He allegedly followed 3 of those victims on Instagram. Also, unsealed search warrants detail what investigators found inside Bryan Koiberger's apartment in Washington State. They found a disposable glove and possible hair strands, including one that may have come from an animal. One of the victims had a dog. Authorities also took his computer so they can look at his search history.
They're going to look for digital evidence. There's a treasure trove that exists. Are there direct messaging to any of the victims, and whether or not there was anything regarding disposing of evidence, some concealing of evidence?
Koiberger has not entered a plea and won't be back in court until June.
All right, that's Fox 35. That said information. 3 of the young ladies. Are those the young ladies that were murdered? Xana, Kaylee, and Maddie. And which one was the object of his obsession? Was it all 3? Was it Maddie, Kaylee, Xana? Who was it? Thank you. All righty. Got a lot going on up here. Don't have enough room for all these goodies to bring you the said information. But anyway, let's go ahead with the gag order. Live now from Fox. Idaho college murders gag order extended to attorneys of victims' families. The judge means business. Nobody's listening.
the Bryan and Koberger case in Idaho, a Latah County judge has extended the gag order in the case of the four murdered University of Idaho students. This new gag order goes even further than the one initially issued after Koberger's arrest. We're going to be joined now by legal analyst Nicole DeBoer. Begin, Nicole, by telling us, what does this dissemination order really speak to the case, and what does it do?
What it does is it prevents interested parties in the case from sharing information other than what's in the public record. So in other words, anyone, including reporters or the parties, can talk about what is in the public record or quote it, but what they cannot do is elaborate on it or explain it or give details that are not a part of the public record already.
And we've seen there was an order already in place that said they couldn't really talk to you then. What did that initial one does? Maybe what does this one entail? And maybe why would a judge do this at this point in this case, in this trial?
So typically, and judges do this very hesitantly, but if there is a gag order issued, it typically only covers the actual parties in the case. So for example, the prosecutor, law enforcement, the defense team, they would be under the court's order. But when you have an additional team of lawyers, as we do here, the court found it necessary a couple of weeks later to go ahead and loop those lawyers and those legal teams for the families, the victims' families, those lawyers into the gag order protection, so that ultimately when this case is tried in criminal court, all of the facts will be presented to the jury for the first time in a courtroom, as opposed to something that they've heard from the public.
And it feels like this one is maybe a little bit vague because they don't want a ton of information out there. Kind of what kind of communication is prohibited under this new gag order?
Really, any information that any of the knowledgeable parties get about this case really cannot be shared. It is just completely locked in a box until ultimately this case is tried. The exception to that rule is if there is a hearing or if there is a public filing, like a motion or a transcript that is not sealed, people who are involved in the case are going to be allowed to quote from that record. What they can't do, however, is talk about things that they learned in the investigation or things that they suspect or things that they're gathering from their work as they develop their own prosecution strategy or defense strategy.
And definitely in this case, obviously, Latah County, the judge there has issued this. But we've seen different search warrants in Washington, in Pennsylvania for the arrest of Bryan Koberger. How does that work across state lines in that regard?
That's a great question, and you have so many jurisdictions involved in this case because ultimately going to capture this defendant, law enforcement had to cross state lines and involve other departments and jurisdictions. However, the gag order still applies to everyone. It applies to everyone who has information that is not already in the public record. So we are allowed to see what we have seen, which is the public hearing. We have the right to know those details. And we have the right to see what is in a public filing, like the probable cause affidavits, if they are not sealed. And the court can't prohibit people from quoting what is already out there, but the court can prohibit parties from saying anything beyond what is in that public record.
That is so very interesting, just about the information that potentially not could come out until June because we might not get any information about this. How rare is it, though, for a judge to maybe change the circumstances of a thing like a gag order?
It is somewhat rare. I mean, this is such a serious consideration for judges. They want to balance the public's right to know and right to free speech with the extremely important right for those who are accused in any case, and this one is especially serious, to have their constitutional rights protected, which means that all of the information a jury will ultimately consider needs to be brought into evidence through the proper channels in a court of law. And so the judge has to balance those considerations in making a decision like gagging the parties to a case.
And I do have to ask this question because my colleague Andrew Kraft asked this the last time we saw a gag order being put in place. Does it just obtain to the lawyers, but if a media entity does get information, are they held liable to this gag order? Or how does that work?
They are potentially liable to the gag order. And, it's such a delicate situation because, as we all know, media can have anonymous sources and media goes to great length to protect those sources. But when there's a strict gag order in place and information gets leaked out, you can bet a judge who has issued an order that should not happen will do everything that the judge legally can to get to the bottom of it. And sometimes you can see court battles where even members of the press are potentially having to call their own lawyers to deal with the disclosure of information that is part of a gag order.
That would put another twist on this case if that potentially happens. You mentioned that it is potentially rare that a gag order gets put in place or stricter way that it has now. It's unlikely that it moves back, that there is a release of this gag order until June, correct?
I think that that's right. This judge has put this in place to protect what happens in the courtroom on that jury trial day. And we will all get a front row seat because we will be entitled to hear about it in a public courtroom. But until then, we're going to be stuck with only the information that's in those public filings or in a hearing. That
is fair. Nicole, DeBoard, legal analyst, thank you so much for joining us. Are there any parting words you want to leave with our audience here on Live Now?
I think this will be an interesting case. We'll still get to hear about it. We're just going to have to wait to hear about it from the public filings and the hearings.
Of course. Thank you. So
Live now from Fox. So as you heard, the judge could also bring the hammer down on any media outlets for releasing any information that was not given out by law enforcement. Information that wasn't released in the affidavit or the search warrant. We've got new information from the affidavit. We've got new information from the search warrant, what was seized and what they were looking for from Bryan Kohberger's apartment. Any other information, such as this new information coming out about someone who worked at the Mad Greek, it's not allowed. This person is stating that they used to work at the restaurant. So Queen would like to know, when you last worked there, did you know the victims personally, the two, Maddie and Xana? And why are you now coming out with this said information? Because once we got information of his arrest, which was a few weeks ago, you had ample enough time to come out then to say, that guy looks familiar. That looks like the guy that ordered this, this, and this. You all see where I'm going? Let's dissect that said information from this alleged eyewitness. So who is this person? Why are they coming out now? And what was their role at the Mad Greek? Waitress, waiter, cook, manager, assistant manager, greeter, hostess, host. What was their role? And once again, why are they now speaking? Thank you all so much for joining me. Live now from Fox was that said source. NewYorkPost.com is the source. Thank you for joining me. Accused University of Idaho killer Bryan Kohberger dined at a Greek restaurant where two of the slain students worked as waitresses, a former employee revealed. Kohberger, 28, visited Mad Greek on South Main Street in downtown Moscow, and at least twice the former worker, who wasn't identified, told People. Madison Moen, 21, and Xana Carnot, 20. Two of the four students killed on November 13th were servers at the eatery, though it was unclear if either of them had any interactions with Kohberger. One moment. Trying to unload here. The criminology PhD student who adheres to an extremely strict vegan diet ordered a vegan pizza, the staffer said. The former worker admitted the order stood out in their memory because the accused killer wanted to make sure no animal products came in contact with his food. A former aunt of Kohberger previously told the Post that his dietary restrictions were very, very weird. It was above and beyond being vegan, said the aunt, who declined to be identified, but she was previously married into the family. His aunt and uncle had to buy new pots and pans because he would not eat from anything that had ever had meat cooked in them. He seemed very OCD. The revelations about Kohlberger's visits to the Mad Greek could be more evidence that he had been stalking Morgan Coronado, Kaylee Gonsalves, 21, and Ethan Chapin, 20, because they were brutally stabbed to death at their off-campus home. Investigators have interviewed employees and owners of the Greek restaurant and have obtained surveillance video from the eatery, people confirmed. Earlier this week, it emerged that Kohlberger slid into one of the victim's direct messages on Instagram in October, just weeks before the massacre. He slid into one of the girl's DMs several times, but she didn't respond, an anonymous source told People. Basically, it was just him saying, "Hey, how are you?" But he did it again and again. The source did not reveal which of the students Kohlberger messaged, though he followed accounts for all three women on the social media platform. The messages from his account were sent around the same time that investigators claimed he was stalking the victims. His cell phone data also pinged in the same location as the students in the run-up to the murders. Kohlberger's efforts to reach his alleged victim on Instagram could be a symptom of the incel complex from which an ex-FBI investigator believes he suffers. The murders may have been an effort to assert some type of dominance, security expert Pete Yamitz has told the Post. According to a search warrant unsealed Wednesday, Washington State University police recovered a possibly blood-stained mattress cover, human hairs, a glove, a computer from Kohlberger's apartment. Police also seized 2 cuttings from an uncased pillow with reddish-brown stain, 1 nitrite tight black glove, 8 possible hair strands, and a possible animal hair strand. The evidence was sent to a lab for testing, which could all potentially link Kohlberger to the crime scene. The suspect, who faces 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary, is scheduled for a preliminary status hearing on June 26. NewYorkPost.com is the source. We have a problem here because we now have 2 different sources bringing forward information, pertaining to these kids. Thank you, Tracy. The judge has issued another gag order, meaning he doesn't want anyone speaking, anyone related to the case. So that's herself, himself, all attorneys, their staff, law enforcement, anybody working the case, processing evidence, tech workers, 911 dispatch, whomever, attorneys for families. Oh, did you hear that, Mr. Gonsalves? They don't want any of you talking because you do not want to jeopardize this case with all this he said and she said. So now that's what we have, a he said and she said. Let them bring us the data first to tell us who he was stalking, what day he started following, sending messages, was at the house, seen at the house, CCTV footage of being at the house, near the house, standing at the house, parked by the house. You all won't even let them bring you the information. They were kind enough to release the warrant of his apartment. They didn't have to do that. That was supposed to be in March. But the judge has kindly given the public a little bit of information pertaining to the warrant of items seized and in search of at BK's apartment. Now we have somebody going to People magazine telling he was at the restaurant. He ordered a vegan pizza. He was there 2 times. So now we have to ask who you are, when did you last work there, your dealings with the victims, and how would you know he ordered a vegan pizza? Because let's be truthful. Even in a small restaurant, how would I know what Bubba ordered over there in the corner? Did he dine in or dine out? You didn't mention that. Did Kohlberger dine in or took the pizza out. Didn't seem strange to me. He didn't act strange. Well, damn, were you watching him? I'm confused. You know how the queen is. You're going to speak, tell it all. You waited weeks now. He got arrested at the end of December. When you saw his face, seemed like to me you would have ran out of breath to the Sun, the Daily Mail, whomever. How about the police? Hello, Carol. So that's what we're going to ask you now directly, whoever you are, former employee of the Mad Greek. Did you go to the police first before going over to People magazine? Well, some entities do pay for stories, such as TMZ. They pay. I believe the Sun or the Daily Mail pays as well, because I brought commentary on other stories pertaining to people being paid for their commentary. So all those things are going to matter if indeed, as you're asking, did you get paid for your story? Are you telling the truth about your version? Did he actually go to this place? Because what if we find out he never went? Maybe drove by, peeping and looking. But we know he likes to interact. So it's a possibility that there's some truth to the statement. Because the fact that he's gone over to the kids' homes, we can't be shocked that he would have also gone into the restaurant. But what we have to be concerned about is the source of the information. Why are you bringing this out now? You know that there's a gag order in place pertaining to anybody giving information related to the case. Perhaps you feel like, well, you're not related because you weren't working at the place at the time of the murders, or were you? So we're going to ask you that question as well. When did you start working for there? When did you leave? Did you get fired? Come on, break it to him, Quay. I chop up everything because I want to know your motivation for talking. And hey, it's a free country. Everyone's entitled to give his or her opinion of a situation. And this is expected that people will come forward to speak about BK. You really can't get angry that people are wanting to tell their relationship with him, whether it's for attention or not. It is what it is. But the validity is what we're going to have a problem. Are you telling the truth? Did you actually witness the ticket for his food and him purchasing, picking up, dining in, or taking the food out? That's my said commentary on that. Daniel Kelly, we're not about to go there, okay? Come on now. I do not know who worked there. I don't know the size of the establishment. I don't know anything about this place. I don't know who came and who went out of this restaurant. Can't say. People quit jobs all the time. People get fired. People leave. So can't say. Don't know if it's a lot of young people that work there, middle-aged people, a mix. I don't know. I'm in the UK. Most newspapers over here pay for stories. Definitely Sun and Daily Mail. That's what I thought. Not really treated as trustworthy over here. And that's where I remember the Sun being from, is the UK. So once I started seeing all these American stories under the Sun's logo, I start to get a little nervous pertaining to validity of information. But as I've told you before, when it comes to giving a version, it doesn't matter who's writing the article, who's the entity, the Sun, the New York Post, the police. It's a version. So therefore, you take the information with a grain of salt. Everything that you're hearing is a version pertaining to who saw the suspect, what he looked like, what he told Pookie, Ray Ray, Bubba, what he told a student, how he looked. Everything's a version. It's just your assertion if it's the truth or not. Yes, constantly rotating staff in restaurants and bars. Exactly. Many people complain that people aren't wanting to work. And so that's a iffy type field, restaurant work, because your pay is never the same if you're a waiter or a waitress or a bartender. You'd have to be working in a really, what I call, established place that gets a lot of visitors morning, noon, and night in order to get what I would say somewhat of steady pay, because your pay is never going to be the same working at a restaurant, bar. Now, mind you, this town, Moscow, only has 26,000 people. So they may get people from the county stopping in to eat and dine, but it's still not like here where I am, where you've got under 500,000 people coming in, traveling, dining in, dining out, ordering food. Thank you, Hippie. Thank you all so much for joining me this late afternoon. That's my said commentary pertaining to Bryan Kohberger. Information has been leaked out that he followed 3 on IG, messaged 1 in their DM. Now someone has gone to people to say that he stopped by the restaurant 2 times, and a judge has issued another gag order pertaining to Kohberger and this case of the Idaho 4. Thank you all so much for following the content. Please check my community board for set updates and movie suggestions. Scream is coming out this March. Pray for the Devil is my scary movie for this weekend for those who dare. And there are other updates pertaining to Alec Baldwin, one of the young ladies that was shot in the head with the rapper Takeoff back in Houston a few months ago. She's decided to come forward to speak briefly of that incident. Thank you all so much for joining me. Hello, Trio. Thank you all so much for the compliments. God bless all of you. Thank you so much. I got 89 viewing. That's my said commentary. I don't have a lot to say about the subject matter because it's just becoming redundant now of same information being repeated because there's not a lot of updates. But these 2 leaks, allegedly, it's not good. Because as I said, most people want to know what happened, but it is a judicial process. So you have to wait on the findings, the evidence. We have to wait to see if the blood found in his apartment matches any of the victims. Okay? The hair is found, if it belongs to the dog and the girls and Ethan. We have to wait. Because what we do not want is anything to taint 12 members of a jury. We don't want anything getting thrown out by a judge, such as seizing of the things from his apartment. Very important. As this one lawyer was saying on his YouTube channel, you want to make sure that all the passing of things from his apartment was done officially, legally. No cross-contamination of touching items from Pookie to Ray Ray to Paul to Dick. Exactly. Because the worst thing could happen, and it's very true what he said, that all those things seized could be thrown out for some type of technicality. We've seen this with true crime. Things thrown out, the items seized, apprehended, things in the search warrant, the search itself, the warrant. Hopefully everything was done by the book. Amen. I don't, Shani. I don't read books anymore. Queen is strictly visual. Hey, I don't want to read. I do enough reading for this program here, so I don't read books anymore. Sorry about that. Hello, Stillwaters. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you all for following the content and tuning in before you get your weekend started. I'm ready for spring myself. It will be here shortly, so I need not fret. I have a good friend who is trying to start up a reality show. She's asked the Queen to join in the audition. I don't know if I will be doing that. I may try to come in at a later date because I told her I don't want any. I watch what goes on here, and I also see what goes on in reality TV. The shows that I watch, I don't need any extra problems. I don't need any extra problems because this right here is a problem for me. This becomes absolutely ridiculous. So I will wait. But I told her I would love to do a forum where we all sit down and we meet up. We talk about our lives, here in the Knoxville, Tennessee general area, what we're doing, our aspirations, our goals, our things that we like, what we don't like, what we like and don't like about living in this area, men, money, maybe a little talk about sex too. I don't know. But that's about as far as the Queen will want to do reality TV. But when I get an update pertaining to the show, it's supposed to be, I think, Big Steppers of Knoxville. We will see what happens. I may try to join in. If not, I'll just sit on the sidelines and be a spectator. Because reality TV is not something I care to do. To me, what I'm doing is reality TV. That's enough. YouTube is enough reality TV. Yeah, I'd rather do the forum where you sit, like where you have different people sitting at a round table, like Ricky Smiley has guests and they all give their opinions on breaking news and subjects. I'd rather do that. I don't want anyone following me around. I'm not trying to get stalked, and I don't have time for any of that type of nonsense. I don't want to do any of that. But we will see. I might change my mind by the time next week comes, just to see what they're talking about. I need to call her anyway, just to get the rundown of what the expectations are. Then I can make a decision from there. But naturally, you'd have to be chosen. So it's really no big deal to me. But I'm wishing her luck. This is something she wanted to do. So I'm praising her for trying to get Knoxville on the map, because this is a very small demographic. Many people don't know about Knoxville. They don't know anything except that the University of Tennessee is here. And it's true. If the university wasn't here, this town would be way more dead than it already is. It's a very dead town. It's a dead town, especially for African-American people. We don't have a lot of African-American businesses. They never thrive. They never follow through. Something always goes wrong. 1 minute it's up for a year or 2, 3, then boom, something happens. Somebody's dead. It's always something. Police is called for shooting, altercations. It's just always, the businesses never last. And I don't know why, but a lot of Black businesses do not thrive here. And we do have an uptick of crime as of late, which is very sad. It's just, the town is not a town for African-American people. It's not. This is a predominantly white city. The areas outside of Knoxville are predominantly white. You don't get a Black population until you either go to Chattanooga, Nashville, or Memphis, Tennessee. That's it. That's it. Very slow motion here. Thank you all for tuning in, though. I appreciate it. I don't want to see myself on camera. This is enough. This is enough. I rarely show myself now because it takes too much time, dolling up and putting on makeup and all that. And it's just days I don't feel like doing that. So how do you all feel about the information coming out about the 3 victims being followed on IG? This alleged allegation that Bryan Koiberger was in the restaurant 2 times. Did he go to the restaurant before the deaths, a day before, 2, a week? And how do you feel about the judge issuing the gag order to extended parties such as families, attorneys? He doesn't want, doesn't want anyone talking, period. Yes, this is old white money. Yes. Mhm. Yes, Knoxville has old white money. Thank you, Andrea. We don't need to see you, Queen, to know you have a good heart. Oh, thank you so much, honey. Thank you. Yeah. If I do reality TV, it wouldn't be like what you see with the housewives and married to medicine and that type. I'm not having anybody follow me around. I don't get down like that. I think it would make sense if he, in fact, did follow the victims. Well, the fact that they have pings at the house, that would lead you to believe he's followed them elsewhere. Why not? If you could follow someone to their house, you could have followed them to their job, to the gym, to the dog park, school, other people's homes, relatives' houses, friends' houses. What would be sick if you find out he's traveled outside of the area? Because you have to remember, these kids also have families. That's something you all didn't touch on. That's why I tell you the story is probably bigger than you know it. These kids also have family members that live in other parts of the United States or Idaho, Washington. Who's to say they didn't go home for the weekend? This sicko could have followed them to their parents' house. This is why this was diabolical, this case, when he was walking around for a month. You don't even know what he was doing for a month. Stalking other people, following them to other people's houses, friends' houses. How do you know he wasn't stalking some of their other friends? That's why I said those kids, you all need to be very careful out here, because you don't know how deep this rabbit hole goes. You just don't know. 1 second. I'm still here. You don't know how deep this rabbit hole goes. Sorry about that. Brief intermission. I had to teach my 25-year-old granddaughter why it's not good to constantly put your life on the internet. Yes, because a lot of people get excited. You show your rooms, things you bought, redecorating a room, a bathroom or something. But it's those little things that can come back to bite you in your tail. And you don't think about it at the time. But it can, because who's to say Kohlberger wasn't stalking some of the other associates, such as when you go to someone's Facebook IG account, you can see who comments and who liked your pictures, your posts. Well, now I can go over to their platform and see if I can watch what they're doing, if it's not private, such as IG. You also can have privacy on the Facebook account too. So who's to say that he didn't go, thank you, Patricia. Who's to say he didn't go over to their accounts looking and lurking and sending messages to their friends? That's how people find you. It's through friends of friends. How do you think you get Facebook requests? It's not just people you know and you grew up with. It's people seeing you post and comment, and then they go over to your account and send a friend request or ask to follow you. Thank you, Lily. So who's to say he might have been sending messages to some of the other girls? Those kids should have been scared shitless when they found out that their friends were dead. Because what they should be saying to themselves, that could have been me. That could have been me. 9 times out of 10, Ethan wasn't a target, but who's to say? Because you have to think about the day that he chose the victims. What was so special about that early morning? Why that day? Why not Thursday? Why not Wednesday? Why not Friday? Rumors now that there were a bunch of people at the house, 150 people allegedly, what, on that Friday? So, or that early Saturday. So why didn't you choose that day? You wanted to be, what? Incognito, because he couldn't have ran through 150 people killing anybody. He would have got beat to sleep. And another thing I want to address, when you keep coming in here talking about he could have been at the frat house. Once again, he would have got beaten to sleep. If he was there, showed up to a function, party, talking crazy, talking out of turn, you think those boys wouldn't have beat him down? They would have beat him down. So I doubt he was at the frat house arguing with Ethan or anybody, because there's no way they're going to stand there and let a stranger argue with their frat brother. See, you have to think before you speak, because that makes no sense to me. A stranger walking up in a house full of men and picks a fight with the boyfriend of a girl he possibly is obsessed with. I don't think that would go too well. He knew what he was doing when he went to that house. He made sure to go there in the dark. Allegedly, people are asleep. He knew what he was doing. And he executed the plan. No matter how you try to dissect him going into this house, he executed the plan. Sloppy, but executed. He did not plan this out well because he did stupid stuff, such as going to the house, taking his phone there, possibly going to this Greek restaurant, any other place following the young ladies, following them on Instagram, IG, Facebook, sending messages. He left a trail stupidly. Almost makes you think maybe he wanted to get caught. Hello, dear. Very disturbing information. But these kids need to now think about how they live, congregate. What you post, don't post. Adults as well, children too, because some of you allow your younger children to have IG pages and YouTube channels and Facebook accounts. Maybe children don't need to be on any social media platform. You need to preserve the integrity of your child, because we have a lot of wackos out here looking for children to fantasize and lust in behind. And you don't think about those things when you're posting pictures of your children in swimsuits and short shorts and tube tops and bathing suits and two-piece bathing suits. Not good. Yes, he was very careless. Yes, he was. Very careless. And the sick part is he probably was looking at other women as well. So this is something that we will wait to see when they bring forward the information from his Fire Stick computer apps. If he was on the dark web, other people he may have messaged, other people he may have been conspiring with in crimes or to get knowledge about crimes. See, as I told you, you do not know how deep the rabbit hole goes, because you don't know who he was speaking to. He may have been actually speaking to someone who has murdered someone, a serial killer, consorting with them and getting information to enact his crimes. And naturally in court, the defense will say, well, he studied criminology, psychology. It's no big deal what he searched in Google, the dark web, movies. He was trying to get a PhD. Well, the gist of that would be, what is his DNA doing at a house where he doesn't know anyone personally? What is their DNA doing in his car, his house, a pet's hair, so on and so forth? She will have to explain that, Ms. Taylor. She's got her work cut out for her, because I'm sure there is a whole lot more to Mr. Koiberger and his data, cell phone, apps, social media pages he was following, deleting his social media pages, which goes to show guilt and knowledge. You were tracking these people like animals, and then you delete your account. When? Why? Why all of a sudden you stop following somebody? Well, I can see you stop following them because they're dead. You killed them, then you delete your account. So when will we find out all this information? We will see. Go to court. But I'm sure there's a lot to view. Okay, watched another YouTube channel where he talks about widows, watch family channels with kids. Average age of viewer, single male, 25-40. Why they want to watch family vloggers? Because they can. That's the thing about having free will. When you're not being investigated for anything, nobody knows what you're doing behind closed doors, what you're looking at on your phone, your computer, what you're searching for in other apps. It only becomes a question when you are being investigated or accused of a crime. Then all those little things you were doing becomes relevant, or to the defense, non-relevant. Yes, these platforms are a playground for sickos. Indeed. Very true. Frankly, that's why a lot of people are on them. They're on Facebook to troll. They go in the DMs, sending nasty messages and trying to flirt, trying to get a date, a hookup, going in articles, ranting and going on and on about their opinion about this and that. You have to sometimes watch what you say, even in response to things. Because I used to comment a lot on the news break articles, and I had to slow my roll and realize sometimes you don't have to respond. You can read it, disagree, and don't reply. Well, you don't know people. I think we know this from all the true crime that's here. You watch Forensic Files, First 48. Those people thought they knew those people. Did they not? Ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, neighbor, co-worker. They thought they knew them. They may have thought, oh, well, we don't get along. We had a disagreement, but they didn't think they would plot to kill them. They would try to put cyanide in their Coke bottle or cookies, bringing food to work to poison the workers. Why would I think that? You're mad at the world. I didn't think you're going to come into my job and shoot up the lunchroom, break room. Why would I think that? Remember back in the day, the danger was putting an ad in the single section of the paper. I saw Single White Female in the theater and I was like, yes, that was a very good movie. Well, that's true. Ads in the paper, yes. I don't know if they did that here in this area, but I know in Chicago, it was known. They had it was in the Sun Times. It was called, I think, The Meeting Place, where you could put an ad. They had a lot of interesting, ads. The things that some of the people were into, it was kind of hard to believe that it would be published, but very interesting. Matter of fact, I would like to get a hold of a Sun Times paper and see if they still do that. Allow you to put ads in the newspaper if they still have the dating ads, because I remember that back in the late 90s. Well, I hope you all are staying warm and have a great weekend. I don't really have much to add to the commentary pertaining to the victims, because I think most of us assumed he had followed these girls online. I think the gist of the story will be, how did he initially come into finding the girls? Was it out in public or social media first? A friend of mine did speed dating. That's when it's time you move tables. Yes, I've heard of that. I don't know if that would be any fun, because you can't really get to know a person just on a timer. And then we know too that people put their best foot forward usually when they meet people. It's only when you keep talking is when you get the real person. So I'm going to ask some of you because the question has been asked. Due to this person coming forward, saying allegedly that he was at the Greek restaurant 2 times at least, to their knowledge, does that factor in who you think his target was? With this new information, do you believe it was Xana and Maddie instead of Kaylee Gonzalez? Because if that's the truth, then one is going to question the wounds that allegedly Kaylee had. Because to this day, her father has not just definitively said, I believe my daughter got the brunt of the wounds. Naturally, if a person is fighting back, they would have more wounds. They're not just, lying still, letting someone stab them 2 or 3 times and then they're dead. You fighting back, you're going to have more wounds because you're putting up your arm, your legs, you're turning over, you're twisting around trying to fight off your attacker. Could it be Maddie was one of the targets? He was angry when he walked in and saw her in the bed with that girl, the other girl, like, what's this? What are these 2 girls doing in the bed together? That would definitely incite a monster. He thought he was going in the room to get the one, but oh, surprise, I've got 2 here. Shani says, I think his target was Maddie because he could dominate her, just my opinion. Why do you say that? Well, Shani, but he's going in to kill them anyway, so it's about dominance anyway. She says she was the quiet girl. I don't know. She was the quiet girl. Well, I don't know about his middle school crush. I don't know him personally to know who he had a crush on. How would you know who he had a crush on in middle school? Curious. We have not got any information of who he had a crush on in school, middle school or high school, college. I would assume he's had a crush on a lot of girls. Quite a few, I'm sure. So what's his preference? Blonde hair, redhead, brunettes, or all of the above? Very interesting. 1 second, you guys. I'll be right back. Have to get me something to write on. As I said, please be safe on your travels this weekend. Happy New Year once again to the viewing audience. You are listening to The Vault. This is not a true crime channel. I talk about various topics on this network. Maybe if I get a little frisky later, I'll come back and talk about something more adventurous because I don't want to continue to talk about true crime every day. It's wearing me out. And I think it's bad luck to talk about dead people every day. This is not good. You don't want to invite the devil in. Thank you, Shani. Said he came out in an interview this week. The girl ended telling him to buzz off, but it was middle school. Okay, I had not heard. as I told people, many people are going to start coming out to speak. I mean, that is usually normal when terrible things happen. But once again, as I've told you, with true crime, there's going to always be people who are going to withhold information. That's why you have to be very careful of what you're listening to pertaining to true crime, because just like I was listening to a story on forensic files yesterday, this girl had information for about a few weeks, and she waited before coming forward to tell her version of something. And I told myself, this is what I tell the audience all the time, is that people withhold stuff. People withhold stuff. They don't tell everything all the time. They know something, they see something, they hear something, and they don't just run right to the police and tell it. If you have an opinion pertaining to the victims being stalked on IG, Kohlberger allegedly visiting the restaurant of the two girls, Mad Greek. Do not know if this is true or not. And the judge has issued another gag order pertaining to families, attorneys, anyone related to this storyline, law officials, lawyers, staff. She does not want you talking. And that also may go for entities such as Sun, Daily Mail, the news. Bring it forward, he said, she said. The judge wants you all to shut up. That's what she said. I don't want you talking. Please be quiet. We will see what happens. More drama. Curl says I would go straight to the police, not the internet first. Well, we do have our internet junkies. That's the problem with the world now. These platforms were invented for certain reasons, and then they turn into other things, such as Facebook. Those young men were trying to connect with their friends through schooling, college, a way for them to communicate. And then it became a place for advertisement, a place to vent, a place to sell items, a place to find a job. Facebook is just all the way around a news information source. Xana worked at the Mad Greek, she and Maddie. What I'd like to know is, where did Kaylee work? I've not heard where she worked. That's something interesting. I have not heard where Ethan worked. I have not heard where Kaylee Gonsalves worked. So it'd be nice to hear where Kaylee Gonsalves had a job. Did he ever go into her employment? As I told you before, when you're dealing with someone that's stalking people, Googling all the time, following them around, it's no telling what else he knew about these kids. As I've told you, you're following someone around. They have access to find your house, your home, your parents' home, aunts, uncles' home, cousins, people liking things on your page. That's why I said this rabbit hole could go way deeper than just he followed them to the house, he followed them to the job. You don't know if he went by their parents' house. We know he likes to drive around in the dark, disposing of weapons, allegedly. So who's to say he wasn't following them to other places? As I said, to the gym, the grocery store, drove to their house, to their parents' house. Well, Google this, pay True Finder. Oh, our mom and dad lives over here. Let me go drive up there and see what kind of house they got. This wacko would do that. That's why I said it's going to be interesting to find different places his phone has pinged besides Moscow, Idaho, and Pullman, Washington. I don't believe that Tulip Farm is right by the campus. That's in a whole nother state. Is it close proximity to drive? I don't know where the other girls were. Haven't a clue, dear. It's all disturbing to me. Well, stalkers usually become murderers. Some. I can't have him or her. Nobody else will. See, once they become rejected, that's where the problem comes. You're not responding. You're not answering phones. You're not listening to the person. You're not listening to me. I'm trying to talk to you. I'm trying to reach you. I'm knocking at your door. I'm going by your work. I'm messaging. I'm sending letters, notes. You're not responding. The more they reach out, the more you ignore them, the worse it becomes. It's not going to work, as I've told you. It's not going to work either way. You're going to have to kill the person. That's how that's going to end. Once they start following you around, popping up where you are, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to put them down like a rabid dog. And you have to be very careful the states you live in. Are you in a stand your ground state? Because naturally, you can't shoot somebody in the back. You damn near have to lure them somewhere. Seriously. To make them stop. Because you don't know how far it's going to go. It's like you're just a sitting duck waiting to see how far they're going to go. Well, nobody said we can't get any information on Bethany. It's a matter of do people care to get information? I don't know. I don't go looking up anything on her. I haven't gone to look. I don't do that. I don't look up stuff on people. I don't waste my time doing that kind of stuff. Parents need to teach kids that disappointment is a part of life. They need to learn how to handle rejection, insults, etc., without going off the deep end. Exactly. That we can't have our way all the time. We can't be with people that don't want us. You can't make them like you. You can't make them love you. You can't make them acknowledge you. You can't make people pay attention to you. Very true. I've always said that when they don't want to talk to you, be bothered. They don't want to date you. They don't want to conversate. They're doing you a favor. So you keep it moving. It's hard sometimes. And when you like people, and especially somebody you've dealt with, and you're trying to make them understand you, and you're trying to get them to come around and just go on and on, you have to stop. At some point, you have to stop. I don't give a damn. Day one, stop. Just leave them alone. Let them go on. But this is true. Everything starts with childhood. So if parents talk to their kids about just life in general, it's helpful. Talking to your children about friendships, courtships, disappointments. You didn't make the team. You need to talk to your children about that. You need to talk to them about revenge, not seeking it, not holding a grudge, because all those things form who you are as an adult. It's those little things add up. Disappointment, being bullied, being a little heavier, being a little chubbier, having freckles. That's how it always is. Curly hair wants straight hair. Straight hair wants curly. Tall person want to be short. Short person want to be tall. The thinner person wants a little weight on them. The fatter person wants to be skinny. It's all the same. Everybody's want to be something that they're not. The girl with medium length hair wanted longer hair. I remember a relative said it to me recently. You always wanted to have long hair, but you had long hair. I thought, well, maybe I wanted my hair longer. I had a head full of hair, but I idolized the girl with the hair down her back. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? You're kids. Now I wish I had the hair that I originally had. But that's life. Things change. Yes, you need to be honest with your children. And I think if you have happy parents breed happy children. Parents who are transparent, they know how to talk to their kids, they know how to relate, they know how to treat them accordingly, also be fair. You will possibly have some very well-rounded children. But if you're the type of person, you don't know how to talk to your kids, you're angry all the time, you're bitter, you're mad, you're fussing all the time, you've got some mental issues, you're probably not going to be a good teacher. And it's just the way it is. And naturally, you can have some really jacked up parents and then produce these well-rounded kids, because you've seen kids who have more sense than their parents. And you're like, where the hell this kid come from? This ain't your kid. There's no way you produce this kid. But it happens. But then the flip side is one of the other children, he acts just as off as the parents. It's a toss of the coin. Ah, thank you. Thank you, Tracy. Makeup. Makeup. But thank you. That's the title of this live stream. Bryan followed 3 victims on IG, allegedly visited the workplace of 2 of the victims, and a judge has now issued a gag order pertaining to law officials, lawyers of the families, so on and so forth. Thank you. Thank you, Hooligan. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. You all need to be trying to plan your weekend. I got a late start today. 6 o'clock here in East Tennessee. 9 more days till the Queen is 52. Yes, 9 more days. I'll be 52. Amen. God is good. I feel good too. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you so much. If you're in the viewing audience, you are chatting in this chat at this moment. Know that you are valued to join this live panel to give your opinion pertaining to the title of this video. If you are in the chat, you are welcome to hit the stream. New subs in the chat, you're welcome to hit the live stream. Carol, Stillwaters, Dana, Shani, join the Queen. I'm just 1 hour in. Make the live count. Oh, Carol says, looking good, Queen. I'm 66. I wish I had that skin. Honey, this is makeup. Trust me, it's flawed. That's what good old cream foundation will do for you. Hello, Cindy. Hello, Trio. Hello, William. Thank you, William M. Shani, Carol, Cindy, Hooligan, Trio. Hit the link. Give us your opinion pertaining to the girls being followed on IG. Koiberger visiting the restaurant, and a gag order has been issued. Hello, Cindy Marie. Make the live count. You all forget, millions of people watch the videos. Thousands of people pass the content. Some people do not look at the chat. So this is why we have the live stream, to let you have a way to voice your opinion respectfully. Because a lot of people do not read the chat. That's what some of you need to understand about the live stream. Some people just listen to the video and what the content holder has to say and the audio visuals. But everybody does not read the chat. So this is why some of us offer you the live stream so you can give your opinion pertaining to the content. Thank you. Thank you, Trio. Thank you very much. Well, slow running. I'm not going to hold you all because I want to enjoy my weekend. I've decided to get into the phase of my decorating shows I've been watching on Hulu. I found this nice looking young girl, HGTV Canada. She and Kenny, I think her name is Courtney. Courtney and Kenny, something like that. She has great decorating style. I like her show. She wasn't married. She's now divorced. So she has a new guy. He's a carpenter and he works alongside her. It's a really great program. That's one of my suggestions if you like home decor. I'm a very avid home decor fan. And I can tell you honestly, if I wasn't doing this, that's what I would be doing in my spare time. It's looking at HGTV and different decorating shows. I don't really care for this. No, some of you be like, what? I don't. It's keeping it honest. This isn't my thing. Some days it's good bringing the content. Other days it's exhausting to me. And it's time consuming. And I'm a stickler about my time. Because one, I'm older and I don't like my time being wasted on frivolous things, whether it be people, situations. So this is why you don't see me behind in front of the camera. It takes too much time dialing up and doing all that. I'd rather just bring the content and be done with it. And I've also learned that on this platform, I do a lot of work and reading and searching things, and I feel like it goes unwarranted. And I'm just keeping it honest. That's why a lot of people don't jive with me because they want to get up here. And as one guy told me, that's going to be your problem is letting people up here. You don't let people get up here. I don't like my time being wasted. Once I feel like my time is being wasted, I've mentally checked out. And I feel like when I do this, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of my time. It's time taken away. I could be doing things where I feel like I'm more valuable. I don't really feel like I'm getting what's due to me on this platform. I just see a lot of silliness and a lot of pettiness and just people who just come out for other reasons. Do you understand? See, everybody's reasons for being on YouTube is different. Okay? Everybody's reasons are different. And I'm just one of them type of people. I don't like my time wasted. And when I feel like my time is wasted, that's when I become irritated. I become very irritated. So that's why I don't show myself a lot. I just bring the content, try to bring it. But I made a vow I cannot do long-winded live streams because nobody wants to sit through a live for 2-3 hours. This is why you're supposed to get to the point of the content, give your opinion, let the people come on the panel if they want to speak and say what they got to say, and then check out. All this 3-4 hour stuff, and that's not good TV. You don't have TV programs that run that long. Hello, Jerry. Hello, lover of the law. Thank you. You're welcome, dear. The curtains and the blinds. Yes, somebody in the chat said I should do a video on that. So maybe that's what I'll do next live. I was watching someone's network earlier. They were talking about, putting their name in a database to where their information won't be shared. It's probably a good idea if you have the money to pay a company every month to make sure your information isn't shared through like Truth Finder and Google searches, because these people are ratchet out here. And as I've said, it's not just koi burgers that are hunting and scheming and looking for stuff. A lot of you act like these people. And I've said this, and a lot of people probably don't like me saying it. I don't care. I tell it the way it is. Some of you all's behavior is stalkerish. As soon as somebody says something in a true crime story, you're the first to jump. I got to go find out. And I looked it up, and he went to school in 1956, and his mother lives on 15th Street, and he's got 5 aunts. And it's like, whoa, slow down. You're doing too much. It's not that serious. No. Let Nancy Grace or somebody do all that damn digging. I don't do that. So I'm not going to waste my time worrying about Koiberger's 15th aunt if he comes from Germany and all of that type of nonsense. I don't care about that kind of stuff. I'm not getting down like that. All that digging. See, that's why I keep trying to tell people. Sometimes you're like, well, I want to know more about the story and more about the person. But then you have to ask yourself, are you becoming what you're criticizing? Something to think about. Because all that digging about these people, trying to find out who liked who talked to who went in a restaurant, and just think about it now. How long he sat outside the house and who did what. It's actually the same thing he was doing. It's not different. The detectives are supposed to do that. FBI agents, CIA, because that is their job. But you as a civilian, that's not your job. Scrolling every day, social media posts to see who liked what and who said what. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being curious, but you can jump down that hole so far deep, you are being psychotic yourself. And I refuse to do that, waste my time doing that. I don't want to do that. Vaughn, I don't know. Right now, I'm going to be honest with you. He has to know he's screwed because in the end, BK knows what he did not do right. He knows. He knows he left the sheath. He knows he kept the shoes. He knows he didn't change his linen. Whether he came home, didn't take a shower, a bath, those blood stains. Are they from nosebleeds? Does he have nosebleeds on his pillow? If they're on his pillow, one could say he bit his tongue or he has nosebleeds. Could be. But what if they ain't? What if we find out that's a mixture of those kids? You can't explain that. You can't explain somebody having access to your phone every day. You can't explain somebody having access to your car every day. Even though people do loan their car out. Sometimes even loan their phones out. But you are a PhD student. So we're going to assume you need your phone. You're going to need your car at some point. Who is the person you're going to implicate as having your car, having your phone? That's where his problem is going to come in. Even if he implicates a person, who is that person going to be? So a plea deal? I don't know. I think she will tell him down the road when the evidence starts coming out, hey, buddy, they're going to try to kill you. You need to just go on and say, yes, I did this. And could you give me life? But if he decides he wants to continue being a narcissist, he just may ride this all the way out. Because in the end, he doesn't have anything left but this trial. So this is his morning glory, crowning glory. Just sit here and make everybody scream and squirm in a courthouse looking at nasty pictures of these kids. He's going to love all that because he's a wacko. May not take a plea. We'll see. It says possible animal hair. I'll wait to see. Thank you, Miss Jen. He messed up. That's the one thing. See, let me tell you about guilt, because all of us have done things we ain't had no business. You may know that you did something wrong, but you don't tell a person that you did something wrong. You don't say it out loud. Kohlberger doesn't have to tell us, hey, I effed up. I had no business killing those kids, stalking those kids. I went and executed this plan foolishly and sloppy. I was sloppy. He's not going to tell us that because he's got to get something out of this. See, that was the whole purpose of stalking the kids and killing the kids. He was getting something out of it. So he'll probably ride this ride out. Why does a grown man have mattress covers? Well, Vaughn, a lot of people have mattress covers on their bed. Some have the vinyl ones and some have the cloth. That's to protect your mattress. That's what it's called, a mattress cover. Because your mattress gets all type of lint, dirt, sweat. And some of you have pets, animals, children. You eat in your bed. So a mattress cover is good for the bed. He messed up a lot, but so much circumstantial BS that I think with this defense team, he can walk. Wow, really? You feel like that? Don't have any more evidence, terrifying to consider. Well, I don't think like you think. See, I'm positive when it comes to true crime. I'm positive. Because I know they do have more. You're forgetting he slaughtered 4 people. So that's a whole lot of more that they got. Because he had to come out of there. He had to get in his car, open the door, shut the door, put a seatbelt on perhaps. And the fact that he vigorously cleaned that car 1 month later, he told on himself then. He told on himself. 1 month later, you're cleaning your car like a crazy person? Why? Now, the car was dirty when it was pulled over 2 times. But the inside, how dirty are you getting in the inside of your car just sitting in it? Come on now. Especially if you don't live around gravel and dirt, leaves. Concrete is around his apartment, so he's not stepping in anything that's dirty. You're walking from your front door to the curb to the car. How dirty would it be inside? Yes, I'm always positive in these cases. I don't go into any of these true crime cases thinking negatively. You have to claim a good, positive outcome. Why would I go into this thinking negatively? I want this person to go down. I think they have good evidence, but I know all it takes is one person to hang a jury, especially somebody that's a wacko like him, somebody that's had a relative accused of a crime. So you have to think about all that, because that's all that is going to be in that jury box. People bringing baggage, people that's hurt, people that are wounded, people that were bullied, people that were fat, people that are fat. You see where I'm going? Somebody with some mental issues, somebody that's got revenge issues. That's what's going to be in that damn jury box. So I think positive that 12 will say yay. They will look at the evidence. They will weigh the eyewitness testimonies, CCTV, evidence from the detectives, agents, that they say yay. Right, Casey Anthony is the perfect example. They had enough evidence to convict her. They chose not to for whatever reason. Because Baez put reasonable doubt when he started throwing in the father, the guy who found the baby in the woods, the utility worker, which is still stupid, because why would the mother call the police telling 911, I haven't even seen this child in a month. The trunk smells like a dead body. If I help somebody kill my own grandkid. What the hell am I getting ready to call 911 for? You want a whole month, you haven't seen the kid, then you make it another month, 2 more months. You don't say nothing. Who the hell implicates themselves or their mate if they think they killed the kid? That's the stupidest thing. But those 12 people down in Florida, they fell for it. It's ridiculous. Yeah. He can claim all he wants, OCD. You're going to be doing a lot of claiming in this case of why this, why that, DNA, hairs, phone pinging, going by the restaurant if that's true, stalking the people, DMs, messaging. It's too much for one human to explain. That's what you always have to remember about explaining yourself. It's no different than any of us. There's no way somebody's just going to pick you out of 10 billion people in the United States, or on the earth rather, and put you at a crime scene. Here, there. All these dead people are linked to you, the one you, out of 10 billion people on the earth. Okay? So that's what you have to tell yourself logically. All your Google searches, engine searches, apps, platforms, you're following people, all that is tying you, the one person out of 10 billion, with these 4 out of the 10 billion. So, put together the 6 degrees of separation of billions of people on the earth. How many coincidences can you put in a 15-minute radius versus all the other people on the earth and the kids that they were friends with, family members, workers that come to the house to work? It's illogical. And it's not saying you don't pick up stuff visiting people. You go sit in somebody's house. You take stuff from their house. You bring it back on your furniture. Pookie comes and sits down. He picks up the dog hair. He takes it over to somebody else's house. All that's plausible and possible. But then when you add in the other DNA, fingerprinting, shoe prints, you can't explain that just as coincidental. No. Then you got CCTV footage. You don't know whoever saw him visually standing around the property, pretending to be walking around. So you don't know. I learned that with the cupcake case. All this time, we thought it was just this, and this that they had. It wasn't until trial we found a person came forward saying they saw the guy and the girl sitting in their car watching this house on a cul-de-sac. We never knew that. We didn't find it out till court. See, because you don't know everything. You don't know who's seeing what, who told what, who called the police, who said, hey, I saw this. I saw him walking in the house. I saw him walking around. I saw him going up that hill, standing there looking down at them girls' house. Even though people say, well, hell, why you didn't call the police? You saw somebody standing in the back of there just watching. Because people do crazy stuff. They don't tell everything. It's only when something bad happens, that's when people decide to come forward and say, oh, yeah, I did notice that. Yeah, I did see that. Even though it's too late. See, let's be truthful. If somebody saw Kohlberger hanging around all those times, he should have been arrested. But people don't like to get involved. People like to testify later. Oh, yeah, I saw that. I saw that. It's too late now. The people are dead. Hello, sweetie. How are you doing, sweetie? Dana says they didn't say that Bryan laundered his gun till way later either. They don't have to tell us. No, they don't. That's what people need to understand about the affidavit. The affidavit is only to show you what led to the judge signing the warrant. What they took before the judge for her to say, yes, arrest him. That's not everything they have on Koiberger. That's what you need to understand about the law. I don't owe you an explanation. I don't have to show you my hand. I do not have to show you everything I've gathered. I do not have to tell you who came and told me anything, showed me anything. I don't have to tell you that. I just need enough to get the warrant signed for an arrest. I will show you everything I got and then some when we go to court. That's the law. Yes, I have lots of them. I'm not going to discuss them during this live stream, but maybe another time. Home decor is one of my favorites. That's one of my favorite hobbies. I love looking at pretty things. I love looking at furniture, pictures. That's my blow. I love a clean space, zen space. I love looking at my hoarding shows. Said I wasn't going to talk about this, but I love seeing an empty space made nice. I love seeing a space that's gross, nasty, unclean, unkempt, and made fabulous. That's what I like. Less is more. I've gone through more stuff in here. I made a vow for the new year. I'd have all this stuff in here that I didn't want. So I just went through purses the other day, redid them. Went through my closets yesterday, the clothing, stuff I wasn't wearing, tried on a few things to make sure they fit to my specifications. Got a small bag to donate to somebody. If not, it's going in a dumpster. Doesn't really matter. I don't want a lot of stuff. As you get older, you realize you don't need as much. You can have a nice space without having a bunch of junk. I don't like paper. It's something I don't like. That's a pet peeve of mine. I hate paper. I don't like mail. If I go to the mailbox, see stuff in the mailbox, I could pass out. I don't want to pick it up. I don't want to touch it. That's why I'm funny about the mailman not delivering to the right address. Don't put somebody else's mail in my mail because now I got to go take it and throw it in the garbage. I'm funny like that. But whether you are 20 or 50, less is more. It's nothing wrong with having nice things. But depending on how you live, whether you're in a trailer, you're in an apartment, a studio, you have to use common sense. You can't stockpile a space. You want to be able to move around comfortably. Turn a cartwheel in there if you can. You don't want to bump into stuff. And I hate a hodgepodge of stuff like bookshelves. See, I wasn't supposed to be talking about all that. Bookshelves, different types of tables in a room. I can't stand that look. It makes my head spin. That's why I don't want a lot of stuff. I don't want a lot of nothing. I'm telling you, I have OCD bad. I get nervous doing basic stuff. If I have to turn the stove on and cook something on it, I never have a panic attack. I just don't like doing it. I don't like touching nothing. I don't want to do nothing. I just don't want to do nothing. My anxieties have gotten worse lately. I just don't like fooling with stuff. If something falls down off a shelf, I'm 2 minutes from thinking a ghost did it because it's like, well, how the hell did that fall down? My first thing in my mind, I'll say, well, maybe you got too much stuff. That's the reason why I fell off the shelf. Maybe you don't need to have all the stuff that's in here. That's how I look at stuff. No, I don't eat out. What I'm trying to say is I don't like doing stuff. I don't want to fumble with stuff. It's just my patience is shorter. I don't want to deal with anything. I just want to breathe. I want to breathe. I don't want to fumble on stoves and pots and pans and look for stuff. And there's just days I just want to get up, do what I do, drink my coffee, mind my business. I just don't like fooling with stuff. That's just where I am right now. I believe it's because I'm older. I don't want to fumble with stuff. I don't like looking for stuff. You know how some people have a whole bunch of stuff, they just throw it in a basket. Or they just throw it in their closet. Well, what you don't think about is the day when it's time for you to look for something important. Now you've got to go pull all that stuff out. Now stuff's falling down. And now you're about to have an anxiety attack because it's something you need that's important. And we know that the more of it you have, the worse it's going to be in searching. Because I had to look for something the other day, a bag or something that I was going to use to shop with. And I thought, man, I can't find it because I had so many bags, purses and stuff. So yes, peace is underrated. Exactly. And yes, order, peace and order. So here I am having to dig through all this stuff the day I'm supposed to be going somewhere to do some heavy shopping. And I'm like, see, had you went and looked through these bags the day before, you wouldn't be having a panic attack trying to find what you were looking for. So the bag is now sitting out in eyesight in another closet where I can just walk in, reach, pull it out, don't have no troubles. And my mind was telling me then, man, you need to go through all these purses and see which ones you are not using because you have an abundance of purses. Go through that stuff and redo them and start over. Yes, too many reusable bags I have now, need to get rid of stuff. Yes, and that's what I'm saying is that when you have a lot of stuff, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be makeup, it could be toiletries, it could be pots, pans, Tupperware bowls. It's all the same. The more you have and you start stuffing it into wherever it is, a shelf, whatever, when it's time for you to go up to get it out, other stuff falls down. That's just common sense. So maybe you need to just get a few and say, I'm just going to have this many. That way, when it's time for me to go up and reach for one, I don't have a collage of stuff falling down. I have a lot of purses. I don't even carry them. It's just that they were pretty. I thought they were cute, but I'm a crossover bag person because when I go out and shop, I don't want nothing on my shoulder. I don't want no heavy purse. And I mean, I've got some beautiful handbags, but I don't even have enough stuff to carry in them. So I tell myself now, why did you buy this? You don't have nothing to even put in here because I don't even believe in putting a whole lot of stuff in a purse. For what? So I got to check myself on that. So that's the new rule. I'm not buying any new purses. I bought me one for Christmas. I bought one around Thanksgiving. That yellow purse I bought, she's a cutie. And then I bought that pink bag. I showed you all that one on my community board. I got that one. That one was literally free. That London fog bag, Ralph Lauren. Got that. And it's sitting pretty on a shelf by itself with a Christmas wreath and a comforter. I've downsized everything. I've repacked everything, redone the purses. They're now been put in a tub. Nice, pretty purple tub. I've redone everything to just make sure everything's downsized. I don't like a lot of junk, and I don't like rummaging through stuff. That's a pet peeve of mine. I don't like going through stuff to look for stuff. I mean, I don't care. It could be anything. It could be the refrigerator. It's all the same. I don't like digging through stuff. Junk drawer, all that. It's the same. I go through that stuff, pull out paper, stuff I'm not really using. Make sure I write everything down that's vital as far as codes and passwords and all that stuff. Keep all that nice and neat in a notebook. I don't want to be digging through stuff because, see, people don't think about if something happens to you, get sick, you may have to send somebody in your house to look for something. You don't want to be telling them, well, I put it over here and put it under here, and then they go in there and it's like, I can't find it because you got so much stuff. I mean, you all seen hoarders. Imagine when you get sick. Somebody has to go in there and look for your Social Security card or your medical stuff, and you got it put up. They can't because you got so much junk. Yeah. Yes, that was a good idea. I gave away a lot of big dressers and such. Yes. Trio, you said what? Oh, no, not me. Yes, I found that at Big Lots. They have good deals on their plastic tubs. And I'm not really a tub person, but I don't have storage in this place where I'm at. So I found this pretty purple tub. And I think originally I did buy that tub for the purses, but then I ended up putting other stuff in there. So now I've redone it the other day. I'm pleased at my organizational skills at this moment because the way my closet is made is that the shelf is long going across the top, but it's deep and you can't see in there at the top or even with your clothes. So here you have all these clothes in the closet, but I can't see them because of the way the closet is made. It's shortened by the doorway. The door's entry is cut short. So far back in, you can't see anything. So I went through all that yesterday, seeing if there's anything in there that I was not going to be wearing. So far, I think I've done a pretty good job. we will go through it again in spring. See how that goes. You see how we get off topic easily? Rodent Playhouse said you pass out if you saw my home. I'm worried about that username, Rodent Playhouse, and I hate rats. That's not good. I'm redoing my entire closet and makeup collection. It's very tedious, but incredibly worth it. Yes, Richie. I recommend you do that. I recommend you do that. Because it's easy to buying stuff because maybe you have an addiction to stuff, you know, clothes, shoes, whatever, and makeup, whatever. And then you realize that stuff's not getting used. So it's best to use some of that stuff up, the makeup, shampoo, whatever it is you like, and then replenish it. Because my daddy always told me, now he's no longer living, but he was a stickler of how a woman should live. Thank him. He's like, a woman should always have a spare. And he was right. So I learned that early on at like 22 years of age. He said, a woman should always have a spare pot, spare washcloth, spare towels. He said, you may have a guest in your home. You should not have to go wash out a pot to cook a meal or go wash a load of towels, dishcloths. So ever since then, I keep spare washcloths, dishcloths, towels, because my father told me that a woman should always have a spare. So I do that with makeup, shampoo, conditioner, girly products, hair products. Always have a spare. Now, there's a difference between a spare and 30 bottles of shampoo. You don't need 30 bottles of shampoo. You don't need 20 bottles of shampoo. 2 conditioners, 2 shampoos. That's enough. You got 60 bottles of shampoo. You need to see a doctor. And I know somebody that lived like that. My mom and my sister, they were hoarders. Well, my sister's still a hoarder. My mother, she's no longer living, but she was a hoarder. Her house was like a shopping mall. So I don't want to become that person. Just buying stuff and getting stuff, and you have nowhere to put it. It's all in the floor and stacked up on the side of your bed, and that's not a way to live. You don't want to live like that. I don't recommend that living for anybody, because in the end, you can't take this stuff with you. And why not have a beautiful space that you can come home to and look around and say, wow, this is my home. And you can invite people over. They feel comfortable when they're there. They don't feel like they need to wear gloves and a COVID mask. They're afraid to touch anything. They're going to catch something. You don't want to live like that. You don't want to be stumbling over stuff. You can have nice things, but it doesn't have to be in every corner of the room. You don't have to have every wall filled with knickknacks, picture frames, this and that. Oh, I don't do that. I mean, you live how you want to live. I'm just saying, when the room is in, it's easier to clean. It's easier to maneuver. And you'll feel better. You just don't know. Stop sharing stuff I've already shared with my audience many years ago when I first came to YouTube. But people that know me know how I live. I hate junk. I hate clutter. So let me tell you something. I can almost say I could damn near get an orgasm just from seeing the room clean. I actually go, like I'm taking a bath. This is nice because it's peaceful. Can't you hear me echoing in the background, my voice? That's letting you know it ain't a lot of stuff in here. I don't want to be bothered. I don't want a lot of junk. You see the background with the mirrors on the walls? That's enough for me. The little pretty stuff on the walls, that's enough. I don't need that other stuff where I'm stubbing my toe and because let me tell you something. More stuff you got, the more you got to clean. In case of a fire, can you run out your house in the dark? They tell you that. Can you shut off the lights in your house right now, your apartment, whatever, and walk through without touching one thing? You don't bump your toe. Your arm doesn't bump into anything. Can you walk through your space right now in the dark without bumping into something and make it straight to the door? If you can't, you need to redo your space. Rodent, I may do that, sure. But it's an easier life. And I think a lot of people don't realize that until they go somewhere else. And they say, damn, it's nice in here. It's quiet, it's peaceful. There's not a lot of junk in the floor. There's not a lot of junk hanging out on top of the door. This and that. I like it. It's not saying you can not put stuff in the house. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when it's not cohesive. That's, to me, when it would be a problem. When you've just got like a bunch of stuff, such as bookshelves, armoires, different type of tables. You know they don't match. They're not cohesive. And it's just got stuff piled on it. Books, this and that, DVDs, whatever you got, cassettes. And you're like, damn, that's a lot of stuff. Do I need this stuff? I don't need this stuff. You don't need it. Let me tell you something. I'm an Aquarius. My birthday is 9 days from today. Same day as Oprah Winfrey. I'll be 52. You can have nice things, but not a junkyard. There's a difference. When you see the home decor shows, maybe one day I'll play one. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. We'll just watch a decor video together and chop up the process. It's just something peaceful about not having to, as I said, contend with a lot of stuff, paper, this and that. We are in a digital age. And there is something good about this digital age, which is you don't need the cassettes anymore. You don't need the 8 tracks. You don't need the CDs. You don't need the DVDs because everything is on the apps. Tubi, Roku, Stars, HBO, you know what I'm saying? So you can go in those apps all day and watch free movies or pay for them, such as Redbox. I paid for a movie this morning late. Orphan, First Kill. Man, that movie was crazy. That was worth $3. $3 and some change. That was worth my $3. But anyway, everything is digital now. So even with YouTube, and I thank YouTube because, as I said, if I wasn't doing this, I would be doing what I normally do. I listen to music off of YouTube and I watch my home decor videos off of YouTube. I don't ever have to buy another magazine. I don't ever have to buy another decorating book, magazine, which is bad for the publishing houses. I'm sorry. But that's less paper in my space because of YouTube, Hulu, showing home decor videos. See where I'm going? I don't have to look in the books anymore for ideas on home decor. I could just go in the YouTube queue, pick a network, and just kick back with my cup of coffee and look at all these wonderful videos on how to redo your space, remodel, do your garden, redo your outside, with bushes, trims, tulips, whatever you into, how to put a roof on, unhoard your house, whatever it is you're into as far as DIY projects. There's no more now of needing a book or a magazine. And I love that. Oh, Tracy said you can get off her floor. Okay. It's hard for people who have DVD collections such to get rid of them with Hulu and all. Yes, Broden. I've got a small basket right now in my spare room that has just DVDs in it. So I'm holding on to those just because there are a few, most of them are new, and I hadn't watched them. And I had bought a lot of those from like the Dollar Tree, the movies. So I didn't want to throw them out. So I'm going to try to get through them and watch. Vincent Harris says football, Giants. Okay. I love throwing mess away, working on my money in Dad's house as well. Okay. I can imagine my daughter saying, I don't want that, this. Do you? I don't want it, but it was mama's and she must have loved it. Okay. Yes, and a lot of people don't like throwing away things that belong to their family members. And I get that. You feel like you're not honoring them by, you would be dishonoring them by throwing away those items. What I say is either refurbish it, paint it, find another place for it, or sell it or give it to somebody who could use it. Because what you got to remember about stuff, whether it was your mother's, your father's, yours, whoever, at some point that stuff's going to get old looking. I don't care what you buy. It's going to get a look to where it starts getting dated. That's why a lot of the things they make now is contemporary. It's timeless looking. So therefore, you could have it 3-5 years from now. Nobody's going to know you bought that 5 years ago. That's why they don't decorate with traditional items anymore, because a lot of traditional items look dated. You go for the more modern look. Do you understand what I'm saying? It looks timeless. That's that. I don't know who this is, but we don't have time for this today, honey. Such as, let me show you this lamp I bought from Ollie's a year and a half ago. Hold on a minute. See if I can pull it out. I want to show you something. If I can. You see this nice lamp? Push back so. This will be a timeless lamp. Won't matter 3-4 years from now. This will be something that will look good no matter 3-5 years from now. Tracy says, I like country style stuff. Okay, so you're into like the farmhouse look. I got you. One item is enough of a person. Love me, you're funny. Said one item is enough of a person of a deceased. You're so funny. You are funny. I got that from Ollie's, that gold lamp. What the point I'm trying to make is the style of it. A few years from now, you're not going to know how old that lamp is. That's the point I'm trying to make. I got that when I first moved here. That was summer of 21. Well, it's now 23. So it won't look dated 5 years from now. That's the point I'm trying to make. But you're entitled to decorate, how you want, because everybody's got their own look. Some people like traditional. Some people like the farmhouse look. Some people like the shabby chic type look, or the modern look with the chrome legs and things like that. So my mom always tells me that if she gives me a gift, it's mine to enjoy or send along, and that she wouldn't want me to be burdened by someone that gave me. Okay. I'm updating all my stuff also. Okay. The lamp matches your mandala mirrors perfectly. Oh, well, thank you. Like antique and weird stuff. What do you mean, Patricia? I can tell by the way it looks, it will never go out of style. Thank you. Yes, it's just a regular gold lamp, nothing fancy. And, hell, if you get tired of it, you can always paint it black or silver, or, even though I'm trying not to stay into painting stuff, because I used to be one of those kind of people always getting spray paint. But I did get spray paint for my door wreath. Please go to my community page to check out the door wreath. I painted that door wreath that coral color as a remembrance of the Idaho 4. If you all remember, on the front of the door of the girl's house, they've got that pewter color wreath. I like both. I like gold and silver. On the kid's door, they've got that wreath with the beads. I painted my wreath. It was blue. I painted my wreath that coral color as a remembrance for the girls, because it was kind of similar with the beads, because my wreath has that beaded look. So please go to my community board to check out the wreath that I colored as in remembrance for the Idaho 4. But you seen it? Okay. So I saw my wreath and I kept saying, you know what? I'm going to change that blue wreath. And I thought about the color of the kids' wreath on their door. I said, let me try to find me a pewter color. So this is more of a peachy copperish color that I painted. But I had a little spare paint left over, and I painted my metal bird copper peach. And I'm going to show you that here. 1 second. And then I'm going to check out of here because it is the weekend. And I've got some stuff I want to watch. Home decor. Okay, everybody. This is my last find. I'm almost an hour 2. Let me show you the color I use. This is my bird. He was originally brass, gold color. Then he was silver. And then I went and bought that spray paint from Walmart a few weeks ago to paint the wreath as a remembrance for the Idaho 4. And now, this is the bird. He's like, lady, don't paint me no more colors, please. He's just, here's his little feet. Show you his feet. But this is the bird. He's painted this copper, orangey copper color that I used for the wreath on my front door as a remembrance for the Idaho 4. So you can find this color at Walmart. That spray paint is so expensive. The only colors you can get cheap, naturally, you know, is that white, black, flat, white, flat, black. This is a pewter color. And I had leftover paint, and I didn't want to throw it away. So I said, I'm going to paint this, my bird, my pelican. And I bought this pelican at Goodwill about coming up 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. And I said, I'm going to paint him silver. So I painted him silver. He was pretty silver. But then I had that paint left over, and I said, well, let's go with another color for him. So this is him now. Look at him. Oh, well. How you doing? You are now live on YouTube, sir. You are now finally famous. My baby's famous. Yeah, isn't that a pretty color? And I like that copper color. Copper is the new gold. So for those of you who are not into silver, you're not into gold, you're not into pewter, the copper is the in color. It's been out for a couple of years. I see a lot of drink shakers, utensils are now in copper. So copper is a new color to try for those who are not into silver or gold. You say hi to Mr. Buddy. He's been with the Queen now about 2 years, 2 or 3 years. And I like him. I found him at Goodwill, sitting on the floor looking lonely. And I said, oh, I'm going to take him home with me. And painted him silver. And now he's copper. I may take a picture of him and put him on a community board so you all can see. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed talking to you guys. You all have made this a wonderful live stream. Sorry it ventured off of true crime, but you have to give true crime a rest. And as I said, this is not a true crime network. I talk about all types of subject matters, relationships, breaking news, home decor, anything that floats my fancy. And that's where I plan on going on this network, is to talk about just different subject matters that's affecting America and abroad, and just various topics, because it gets boring to just talk about the macabre every day. I don't think it's healthy, and I don't think it's good to invite the enemy in every day talking about death. I just don't think it's a good idea. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You all have been so good to the queen. I'm going to let you all go. But if I decide to come back on later, I'll pick a juicy topic to talk about for the weekend. We may go back into the vault of one of my older topics, older women and younger men. Is it better with a young guy versus a guy your own age? Some of you in the chat may be a little younger than the queen. I will be 52 in 9 days, God willing. And we may just get a little gritty this evening and talk about relationships and courtships and sexual appetites and so on and so forth. Thank you so much for following the queen. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $Big Angie 129 Cash App. All stickers and chat to welcome to the live stream. Thank you for the super chats and stickers. Thank you for the donations. God bless all of you. Please check out my information on my community board for said updates and breaking news. Please take the latest poll. Thank you all so very much. You all stay safe. Be aware of your surroundings. If you see something, say something. Be a part of the solution, not the problem. Mind the children. Please be aware of what you post on social media. Do not use your government name. Do not put your location underneath your IG page or location and where you work on your Facebook account, and also Twitter and any other app. Be careful what you say, how you respond to people. Also, and be careful giving out any identifying information to your Gmail to people that you do not know, and Yahoo. Best keep that private. Anything suspicious come up in your Gmail, Yahoo, block it, delete it, don't respond. Please guard your safety, your name, your personal information. Ask not to be a victim of fraud and also stalking and doxing. You have been listening to The Vault. Thank you so much for your time. You're welcome, sweetheart.